I'm not going to waste your time. You clicked on this video for 15 minutes of car facts you probably didn't know in GTA Online, so here we go. And thank you to my channel members, I greatly appreciate you all. Wait for the end of the video for more information on that. Please leave a like if you enjoy, subscribe, all that good stuff. See y'all later. There are seven versions of the Boxville truck. The Humane Labs Boxville, which is used during one of the preps for the Humane Labs raid as an escape vehicle, purchasable on Warstock Cash and Carry. The Post-Op Boxville, seen during one setup mission for the Pacific Standard heist, also purchasable on Warstock Cash and Carry. The Los Santos Department of Water and Power Boxville, seen during random side missions and can sometimes spawn around the docks. The Go Postal Boxville, which is also used for various side missions and whatnot. The Los Santos Department of Sanitation Boxville, also used for side missions. The Taco Truck also uses the Boxville as a base model, but modifies it slightly to transform it into a food truck, of course. So technically that is another Boxville. And the Armored Boxville, which was added as part of Import-Export. A pretty cool truck for a decent amount of money though. There was also a Noose version of the Boxville which never made it to the final version of the game, used only for 2-star wanted levels. It would have 2 shooters in the back who would of course shoot at the player. Would have been pretty cool to see, but unfortunately it never made it. The truck was also in GTA Chinatown Wars and GTA 4. It also appeared in the September 2022 leaks of GTA 6, driving around in its Go Postal livery, so it'll be exciting to see the truck be in the modern trilogy of GTA games. While most cars that are driven by NPCs spawn without window tint, there are some models that will always have it, like the Granger for example, the Dubsta is another one as well, the Rancher, and the Stretch Limousine to name a few, although the Limousine is kind of expected to have tint because, well, it is a limo. The Esperanto, Roman's taxi cab from GTA 4, isn't in GTA 5. But it kinda is. The Esperanto is in GTA 5, but only as a cop car up in North Yankton, and you cannot see it or drive it anywhere else other than North Yankton. Of course, if you use mods, you could get it, but if you don't have mods, you can only get it in North Yankton. It can be seen during the prologue and doesn't have a civilian version. The Contender from GTA 4 also isn't in GTA 5, but it also kinda is. Well, there is actually a truck called the Contender in GTA 5, but it isn't the same truck from GTA 4. It's a new model entirely. But the Contender from GTA 4 is used for service trucks that can sometimes spawn around the map. Basically just the cab is used and there is no civilian version of the model that was in GTA 4 in GTA 5. But there technically is a Contender, it's just not the same truck. The Jester and the Jester Classic make no sense. The Jester is based off of the 2nd gen Acura NSX, and the Jester Classic is based off of the Mark IV Supra. The Jester Classic should actually in theory be the 1st generation Acura NSX, which would be pretty cool to have. There are actually a good amount of examples like this, like the ZR350, which is based off of the Mazda FD RX-7, and the ZR380, which is based off of the Nissan 350Z. That example is actually quite bad compared to the first, as the cars are based off of entirely different models and makes. The Bravado Buffalo, which is of course a Bravado brand vehicle, is perfectly fine. But upon closer inspection, it actually has vapid floor mats. This of course makes no sense as Bravado is Dodge in game and vapid is supposed to imitate Ford vehicles, so why are there vapid floor mats in a Bravado vehicle? Quite odd and something you definitely didn't know. I mean, who pays attention to floor mats? This guy right here. On the Ruiner 2000, you can see the rockets mounted on the front bumper deplete as you are actively using them, which is some nice attention to detail, I will say. If you go over some bumps that are big enough and hold the gas and brakes at the same time, you can do what is known in GTA 5 as brake boosting, which of course gives you a small burst of speed. This was actually heavily utilized by speedrunners in GTA 5 story mode, as there are many bumps along streets that you have to drive on, so the speedrunners would learn these bumps, learn where they were, and use them to get a better time, and perfect them, and use them to their advantage of course. I know this video is about cars, but one helicopter fact wouldn't hurt. The police helicopter is named the Police Maverick, even though the regular Maverick is an entirely different looking model. The regular Maverick is more bulky with 2 propellers, and the Police Maverick is noticeably skinnier with 3 propellers. In the beta version of GTA 5, there was actually a Police Maverick that utilized the bulkier model, but this version never made it to the finalized game. So maybe the name thing was kind of a change that they never ended up changing from the beta version to the final game, but who knows. On the Zentorno, the quad exhaust option really only has 3 active exhausts. This can be seen when the vehicle backfires or when you're shooting flames or whatever, and there are only 3 exhausts exuding flames while 1 does not. And now that I see this, this actually pisses me off every single time I drive the Zentorno. On the Yuga Classic 4x4, you can add additional lights on top of the van, which is pretty normal and standard, I would say, but because the Yuga has such a tiny front end and it doesn't go very far out, the lights will actually directly flash onto the hood, which cannot be safe, I will say. The Sabre Turbo is the only naturally spawning vehicle in game to have a chance to have chrome already on it. This is especially notable because in the early days of GTA Online, chrome was a somewhat rare color, having to complete and win 50 races in GTA Online, which of course races were much more active, they were a much bigger thing than they are now. So having to win 50 is kind of a big deal still today. Have you ever stolen a car and gone to take it to the custom shop only for it to say this vehicle is too hot to modify and wondered what it was? Well, this is a feature of older times, as when GTA Online first came out, they of course made it to where you can steal and keep most NPC cars on the road. However, some of these cars were too good to keep at the time. I mean, if you think about it, if you stole an Infernus, that was like a $400,000 car back then, which was a lot of money back in 2013. I mean, that was some serious cash. They didn't want players to have good cars off the rip, so they made it to where you had to buy the better cars, and that feature is still active today. The Contender has a front windshield that is slightly bullet resistant. What's odd is that the other windows are not resistant to bullets in any way, just the front, which I guess is mainly where you're gonna get shot from. You're not really gonna get shot from the sides. If you're chasing someone, they're gonna shoot your windshield, so I guess it is useful, but a little bit odd. The Patriot's hood opens up inverted, which is common on big rigs but not civilian vehicles. I imagine they did this because this car is based off of the Hummer H2, which is of course a very large vehicle with a very large engine bay. Mounting it via the front grille gives you more space to work on your truck, and it's nice that Rockstar paid some nice attention to detail here, and did the same thing. Shout out if you have a Hummer, man. These are really cool trucks. The GP1 has extremely odd seats. It's almost like a bench with seats carved into it. They're not actually seats that are alone, you know, on their lonesome. It's like literally a bench with seats carved into it. It sucks because the rest of the interior is actually pretty good, but the seats are absolutely absurd looking. Like, I don't think I've ever seen any seats like this in any car, GTA Online, or real life. Whenever you exit your garage in a car, it gives you a loading screen and kind of just plops you outside right now. But it once actually played a cutscene of you driving out of your garage long ago. This was likely removed as players would just wait for you to leave your garage and you would be stuck in the loading screen, unable to do anything, unable to defend yourself, and then they would probably blow you up or something, but this has long been removed. In the mission Housekeeping of Casino Work, the Duggins steal the Thrax and it gets damaged, so you have to fix it at LS Customs. But if it gets damaged multiple times, you can actually go back and fix it, of course, but you can modify it by changing the color and livery, which you're not supposed to do, obviously. The vehicle is supposed to have that kind of red-orange color, but you can add a livery, you can change the color, and Miss Baker will take it no problem. The Italy GTO Stinger TT has a front end that looks very happy. Kind of like those animes where the smiles are over-exaggerated or something, but now that I see it, I can't not unsee it. Using the bulldozer, you can actually pick up rocks and place them in the back of a truck bed to live out your inner farm simulator self. That is, of course, if your truck can handle the immense weight in the back, which my truck barely can, as you can see right here. When you start up the Buffalo EVX, it plays a fake engine startup sound. This is obviously to imitate the real-life Charger EV that also plays fake engine sounds whenever you rev it or whenever you start it up. This was a big gimmick and this car failed miserably in real life, so much so that they're just going to put the Hemi in it after all, which is cool to see, but why even make an EV to begin with? This was pretty easy to see, but let me stop myself to move on. Sometimes when you are AFK for long enough, you will hear a car in the background speeding. This car uses the same audio track as the Feltzer. It's rumored, however, to be a special version of the Feltzer that never released. This audio track can still be heard in director mode with NPCs and traffic turned off, which is quite eerie as well, because obviously if traffic and NPCs are off, then who's making the noise in that car? It kind of just signifies that there's always someone out there while you're always doing something, makes the city feel more alive. Whenever I hear this sound, it's time to realize that it's late and get off for the day or night. The car that can be heard in the background during the loading screen of GTA 5 is actually the Carbon Azar. Some think it's the Feltzer, but the Feltzer has a deeper rumble, at least to me. The Carbon Azar sounds slightly more peaky and high-pitched overall. The pedals in older cars are actually just PNGs of pedals and not actual pedals. They didn't even cut them out fully. You can still see the black edges of the image. But granted, first person wasn't a thing back then. The Tulip M100 has an option to add twin turbos to the front, but when you open the hood, there are no turbos to be seen. Perhaps they are ghost turbos, or maybe if you imagine it enough, they are indeed there, but when you pop the hood, there's nothing there. They're only on the front, so they must be imaginary turbos. When Rockstar added cop cars available to us to purchase, they initially only allowed you to turn the lights on and off with the siren blaring, but sometime after, they added the ability to allow the lights to remain stagnant. This was greatly appreciated as someone who roleplays from time to time and doesn't want to blare the sirens on a traffic stop. You can just keep the sirens on, keep things legit without all the noise. When Rockstar first added the cop cars, they intentionally made it so the resale value of the cop cars are 0. They do tell you this in the description before buying the vehicle, but I mean, who reads the description? I mean, I guess some people do, but I don't. They also probably did this because of duplication glitches. Fully modded cop cars could cost up to $6 million if you're using like the Gauntlet or the Coquette. I mean, these can be really expensive. And at that point, the duplicated variant would sell for like $3 million. So that obviously would not be good for Rockstar. But it kind of sucks that everybody who doesn't do duplication glitches also has to pay the price for it. There was a police cruiser in the early versions of GTA 5 that more closely resembled the Stanier in game. The Stanier is based off of the Ford Crown Victoria, at least primarily, and this cruiser never made it to the final version of GTA 5, and the generic police cruiser took its place. It sucks because I actually kind of think that this design looks better, but let me know what you think. You can make your own sled by stealing a truck with a trailer attached to it, blowing it up, and controlling the trailer via minigun. It actually works quite well, but just not very fast. But I mean, you're not trying to be fast in this thing. Or are you? Your vehicle will never spawn in the direction you are looking. You can use this to manipulate it to spawn closer to you by running in the direction you want the vehicle to spawn in, looking down while doing so, and the car will spawn pretty close to you as a result. A neat trick I used to get my car a little bit quicker. The rear license plate on the Journey is crunched up in a weird way. I thought it might have just been the dirty version of the Journey, but the clean version also has the same weird issue. It doesn't even look damaged. It literally looks like the license plate numbers can't fit on the actual plate, which is quite odd. Pretty sure Rockstar thought that no one would ever pay attention to this, but I did. There was a wrecked Ruiner car model that can be found in the various scrapyards across San Andreas. This model is obviously completely inoperable, but in the files, there actually is the same car model that can drive. It looks extremely odd to see, and the only way to see this for yourself is to have a modder spawn it in, but it is really odd that Rockstar even made this a drivable model to begin with. In GTA 5, there are 5 cars that have both a rusty variant and a clean variant that can be found across the map. The Emperor, the Rebel, the Surfer, the Tornado, and the Voodoo. These once again are cars that have both a clean variant and a rusty variant, and you can find both on the map naturally. You do not have to buy these. If you ever buy a seasonal vehicle and then sell it at a later time for whatever reason you may have, you will always be able to buy it back no matter what time of year it is. Of course, you will only have one more year for this because GTA 6 supposedly releases in 2026, but now you have one more year to use it, so use it wisely. Every cop car will come standard with San Andreas exempt license plates. You cannot change these plates unless you mod the car or glitch it in some way. Exempt plates obviously signify a government official vehicle, so that's why they are on there. One motorcycle fact surely wouldn't hurt. The Defiler has probably the smallest attachments known to man. Firstly, the license plate, it's so tiny you could barely read it past like 5 feet. I mean, this thing is like a little kid license plate for like one of those little tight cars. The gauges are also extremely small and hard to see. The bike itself is pretty small as well, so Rockstar probably accommodated that, but the result is not at all pretty, I will say. This thing is so tiny, everything on it is tiny, but don't clip that. I'm sure most people, especially new players, know the Turismo as a car that released as part of the High Life update back in 2014 or 2013, and it is a pretty decent car. Right now, nobody really drives it, but whatever. But the Turismo was also in GTA 4, but it was based on an older Ferrari model at the time. Probably the Ferrari 360 is what I'm gathering the most from it. So it's weird that they chose to add the Turismo that we have in GTA 5, but not the Turismo from GTA 4. If anything, the Turismo Classic should have been the one in GTA 4, but the Turismo Classic in GTA 5 is actually a different Ferrari. It's the Ferrari F40, so it's a really big, jumble, messed up car structure, which I kind of talked about earlier. And that is it, everyone. Hopefully you did enjoy these car facts. If you did, please subscribe and leave a like. It greatly helps me out. Thank you to my channel members. Thank you to Byron. Thank you to KOIAER. Thank you to Anawack. And thank you to STRLTZ. I greatly appreciate you all. Check out the channel members if you'd like to have your name at the end of every video and the start of every video. And I'll see you all later. Have a great day or night or evening. And goodbye. Hey. Hey, look. Hey, look. Hey, look. You better subscribe, you better subscribe, because if you do not, I might cry. You better subscribe, you better subscribe. I ran up the bands in GTA 5. You better subscribe, because if you do not, you might cry. You better subscribe, because if you don't, I might die. You better subscribe, I'm about to go crazy on the beat. You better subscribe, Hey, wait for the beat to drop. Ooh, you better subscribe. Hey, you better subscribe, I'm out of breath. You better subscribe,